Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 142 of our trip around the United States. We didn't finish where we wanted to last night. We ended up several counties behind and ended up calling it a day when we got to Maryville. Right now, we are staged just one county shy of our starting point for the day, and I think we're in a good place. Today's route has 170 miles on it, and it's one of the few days on this trip where we're going to be on the interstate. From here, we're going to be proceeding directly west along the I-40 all day long until we reach Nashville. Being able to drive on the interstate is actually a very rare treat for us. When we geocached over the last decade plus, our goal was always to get to where we were going. We targeted the Cache Across America series in each state, and the fastest way to get to those caches was on the interstates. So we've geocached most of the counties that touch the interstates in most of the states in the country. So when we've seen interstates on this trip, it's generally because we're crossing them and not using them. So being able to just fly along on the highway at 70 plus miles an hour, I'll take it. Today's target list is also fairly simple. We've got a good mix of geocaches, but nothing too complicated. Some earth caches, some virtuals, lots of challenges, some traditionals with high favorite points, but in general, the route is just to carry us through the counties from here to Nashville. And just the counties, mind you. We are done with all of the pages from the central side of Tennessee to the eastern side of Tennessee. We don't need to see a single DeLorme page until after we finish our time in Nashville. I think it's going to be a pretty easy day, and I think it's going to be a good day that we finish up before the sun goes down, even starting further behind than we wanted to. As always, only one way to find out if what I think is going to happen is what actually is going to happen, and that's by getting out there and doing it. So let's go geocaching. Come on, let's go.
Our day begins at the Melton Hill Reservoir on the Clinch River, which extends almost 57 miles upstream from Melton Hill Dam to Norris Dam. This reservoir provides nearly 139 miles of shoreline and over 5,000 acres of water surface for recreational purposes. This part of Tennessee is well known for its karst landscape, which gives us the perfect opportunity to go explore a nearby cave. We aren't exactly here to go spelunking though, so we only had a look at the entrance. And Aichan would not even go this far in. She's pretty smart. We were able to make some pretty fun finds as we started our way west along the I-40, including this geocache, which comes right to you on a lift elevator. And in the interest of keeping things moving along as quickly as possible, we were not above lifting a few skirts to find the prizes hidden underneath. Every lamp skirt we located was a sigh of relief knowing that that was one less county that we had to worry about today.
You guys should probably understand something about a day like today. I've been on the road since Michigan without really meeting anybody except for one person in North Dakota that we got to geocache the day together, and it was awesome. Except for that, it's really just been the dog and I alone for the last month and some change. So I'm very excited to get to my sister's house and get to see some family. And if every single geocache I find today is hidden in a lamppost, great, that gets me there that much quicker. Thank you, LPC.
Like artillery rounds falling downrange, we blew our way through the targets one after another, and were happy to find that they were not all lamppost hides, although that would have been just fine. We had quite a bit of variety to work with until we made our way to a challenge series, which was all hidden in a similar fashion right off the edge of the road in the woods. Although they were all park and grabs, taking less than 5 minutes each to locate, when you're looking for a medicine bottle hanging in a tree at the edge of the woods, sometimes it can take a little bit of searching before you spot the prize you seek. On a series like this, a consistent hide style gives you an idea of what you're looking for each time, and then you just have to keep exercising that patience until you have the prize in hand. Although I really could have called it quits on this series with just 1 or 2 finds, I really do enjoy challenges, so I saw no reason not to track each one of them down. And so we did exactly that, moving from one to the next. Aichan, realizing we were doing a series of park and grabs, didn't even try to get out of the car. She just curled up in the passenger seat and took a nap until we were ready for something that needed her as well. As it turns out, she would not have to wait all that long. After completing that geocache series, we made our way out to Ozone Falls in Cumberland County. The falls are located along Fall Creek, which drains a short section of the Cumberland Plateau between the Crab Orchard Mountains to the West Walden Ridge to the east. Although it is significantly longer to reach the bottom of the falls, it is a very short walk, only a few hundred feet, to reach the top of the falls just off of US Route 70. This is definitely one of those places where you should watch your step and be very careful about where you're taking your selfies. I watched a couple of people standing right at the edge backing up to get the perfect shot, and it made my heart stop just a little bit, because that would be a long, unforgiving drop from the top of the falls to the shallow pool located below. The geocache we had on our list today with the most favorite points was unfortunately not doing so well. As soon as we saw the little house on approach, it was clear that a muggle had gotten to it first and pillaged it. A geocacher before us had at least left a logbook for other cachers to sign.
Well, darn. I kind of had high hopes for this one. It had a lot of favorite points, but as you can see, a muggle got to it, and it's definitely not in the shape it once was.
Fortunately, the next home that we dropped in to visit was in much better condition, and the geocache was there waiting to greet us.
I'm always a fan of little free libraries, but this one is a little different than the usual. So you know you're in the right place. You got the geocaching logo here. If you look at this little free library here, it has a wide open space at the bottom that there's no books in. All that needs to be done here is apply the right amount of pressure.
While most cache owners don't usually give a lot of thought to the logbook included inside of a geocache, myself included, it can actually be a very nice touch to bring a cache up by a few more points. I enjoyed a quick flip through on this beauty to see who had come before us. And then it was off to the next part of our adventure. We dropped into Cookville and had a walk around the Ensor Sink natural area, which was established to preserve the natural beauty of the land surrounding Ensor Sink. This is a great example of taking lemons and making lemonade. A sinkhole had formed in the middle of the city, and rather than just writing it off, they turned it into a park surrounding the sinkhole with fences blocking off the major drop area so that visitors could come and take a tour of the park and see the sinkhole from a safe distance. We walked a full circle around the sinkhole, appreciating what we could see from every angle. Our final county targets of the day would take us directly into the heart of downtown Lebanon within the historic square. Although a very crazy town square to visit, this was actually voted the best shopping center in the Main Street Awards in 2023. And man, oh man, was it busy here.
We've been through a lot of town squares in big cities and small towns alike. But Lebanon is definitely getting my vote for the busiest. These cars have not stopped for an instant since I've gotten here. And the craziest. The way you have the inner circle around the statue and the outer circle that's all one ways into the little tiny corner parking lots is a very weird design here. It's another place where I have to ask, how many accidents do they have? I have a feeling this traffic circle has a lot of accidents compared to many other town squares.
Moving from the heart of Lebanon to the edge of the city, we made our way over to the Castle Heights Military Academy in pursuit of a traditional and a virtual. Now home to many corporate buildings, this historic site was once a private military academy that opened its doors in 1982 before closing in 1986. It makes for a very interesting mix of new and old. And while walking into the middle of this courtyard, you can have a look at history directly under your feet. Each of the bricks here honor graduates of the military academy, starting from when it opened its doors all the way until when it closed in 1986. And knowing my love for proud military traditions within the United States, it probably comes as no surprise that this was the perfect place for us to finish off our day. And unlike the busy downtown square in Lebanon, we had the entire place to ourselves to sit and relax and enjoy the view.
All right, travelers, that is going to do it for our day. We've made it to Lebanon and we have completed the last county on our list. We have now completed everything east of Nashville for the entire state of Tennessee. We already had 2 days slated to stay in Nashville, and I'm running 2 days ahead of schedule. So it looks like we're going to be hanging around the Nashville area for at least the next 4 or 5 days. We're not going to be covering any significant miles during that period. We will have a couple of geocaching days, and we're going to have a couple of days where we're doing things a little different than normal. But we'll still be bringing you our daily videos, even if the format's not what you're used to. We hope you guys enjoyed geocaching along with us as we got to cache on the interstate, which again is a very rare treat for us because we really haven't been able to be on the interstates during this entire trip. Every time we come up to one, we cross it, or we'll get on it and go down an exit or two, and then we go off on another road again, because we just don't need anything along most of those interstates. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.